Hey everybody, this is Ryan from the YMCA. Today we're going to be talking about a fundamental or essential movement, and that is the squat. So any fundamental or essential movement is a movement that happens naturally. It's the movements that our bodies naturally do. In fact, you could see babies doing these movements or learning these movements. So today's squat, you could probably typically see a baby when they're learning to walk. They're also essentially learning to squat and sit down slowly as well. So the squat is not just about squatting the weight up, it's about sitting the weight back down. So this is great for anyone who currently is having challenges getting in and out of a seat unassisted. So the goal is to be able to perform body weight or air squats without any assistance. So I'm going to demonstrate that movement. We're going to place our feet shoulder width or slightly wider. Toes are pointing forward and pointing in the same direction, I should say. Sometimes we'll see someone with the toe pointing this way and a foot turned out. This is going to create some torque in the hip. We do not want that. So both feet facing the same direction, generally slightly turned out. The other thing to be conscious of is that your feet are in a line, so you're not in the staggered stance, because that's also going to be weird for a squat. So feet in a line, toes pointing in the same direction, eyes up, chest up. We're going to initiate this movement by sending our hips back. So sometimes a tactile cue is good, where you kind of karate chop your hips, send those back, chest stays lifted, knees are staying out, so I could see my big toes here. If my knees were collapsing in, I wouldn't be able to see my feet. That would not be what we want. We want to be able to focus and use our hip muscles to pull our legs out and then come to a stand. So again, it should look like that. If that is a struggle, we're going to talk about how to build that movement capacity up. So now that you've seen the air squat, what we're going to do is we're going to break that movement down and we're going to learn it from the bottom up. So I'm going to start in a seated position. I'm using plates. You can use a chair at home. I'm using plates because I'm going to be able to adjust the height. Same thing with the chair. You could put books there. If you're using a chair on a slippery floor, I would butt it up against a wall. So what we're doing is same thing, same setup as the air squat. Feet shoulder or slightly wider apart. Toes in a line, so not staggered. Pointing in the same direction, chest up, eyes up. I'm going to put my arms out to counterbalance, and I'm pushing down on the floor, leaning forward a little bit, so not here, but from here, there's a little bit of a lean, again, not collapsing forward, standing up to rise. I'm going to reverse that movement pattern now again, karate chop, the hips go back, trying to find those plates with my butt, and reverse back up. So a lot of times we hear people saying, my knees hurt, my hips hurt, I can't squat. And these may be very valid concerns. However, do not throw away an entire movement pattern, one that is fundamental to life. This is how you get off the toilet, how you get off the couch, how you get off the office chair. Don't throw it away because there's some discomfort associated with that. There's ways to work around that. The easiest way is to decrease range of motion. So in this case, I'm adding some plates to this stack. So now, when I start in the bottom of this position, it's a much more shallow squat. I have less room to rise. So everything remains the same. I just shortened up that range of motion. If that continues to bother you, there's a few other ways as well, which we'll talk about in one moment. Another complaint that we often hear is, it hurts on the way up or it hurts only on the way down. Well, if that's the case, try to find where it hurts and stay above or below that. The other thing is, if it only hurts on the way up, you can focus on just coming down, and then you could have something that can pull you up. So you're using upper body strength, pull yourself up. Hopefully that avoids that discomfort that you may have in your knees. And same thing, reverse that movement. Another thing that's great is isometric holds. So for an isometric hold, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be trying to create some pressure, pushing down with my feet, bracing my core, driving my legs out, and just hovering off of these plates for a couple seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then relax. Repeat. 1, 2, 3. Eventually, you'll be able to come up a little higher, holding that 3-second count, coming back down, eventually a little higher yet, and eventually you'll be able to do the entire movement. And for a band-assisted option, you can use the bands to pull yourself up, and then you can let go of the band and work the eccentric piece, or you might need the band on both sides. So I'll demonstrate both. So this is using the band both ways, up. I'm also using that band to control my descent, up, control my descent. This time I'm going to use it to help me up. I'm going to let go of it, and I'm going to work on that eccentric piece. Grab it again, pull up, work on that eccentric piece. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you give a few of these drills a try. The idea is to build the capacity to be able to do an air squat on your own, or to be able to comfortably get in and out of chairs without any assistance whatsoever. This will provide you with functional independence for many, many years.